me, Randy, of course, and then,
Of course,
it's always me.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. And the most beautiful and talented and most loyal wife I think anybody could ask for.
Thank you, honey.
Our beautiful co-host, Cathy.
Yeah.
So, again, we didn't post a podcast this week, a fresh one, right?
No.
We did, but we actually needed a break from everything, so we were on a cruise for 7 days. So, but we're back, and we're going to work really hard on being more consistent as long as things do not get in our way.
That's true.
And part of that is instead of recording one podcast at a time, we're probably going to record 2 to 3 at a time.
Yeah.
That way we're covered.
We got a library that way.
Yeah, we got a library that way. So, but anyways, our apologies for that, and just know we think about all of you even when we're taking our break. So, and remember also that our heart is to help individuals and couples grow stronger through healing, honest conversations, and meaningful connection. Yeah. Each week we talk about real life topics like communication.
Hello.
One of the hardest ones, and the real hard one, forgiveness. Yep. And then intimacy, we're talking about emotional intimacy, not physical intimacy.
Right.
Family and emotional health. Because healthy relationships begin with healed hearts, right? Thanks for tuning in as we take another step together toward restoring what matters most. Yeah. So this week, today's episode is titled Breaking Family Cycles. Wow. Choosing healing over survival. Breaking family cycles, family generational curses. And I'm going to start with a scripture, and this was found in Exodus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, the same, in a different saying, but the same thing. So Exodus 25 says, "For I, the Lord, your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children to the third and the fourth generation of those who hate me."
That's Exodus 20, verse 5.
20
verse 5.
Exodus 20, verse 5. And you're going to have to think about that one a little bit, because when you hear about family curses, a lot of people, or generational curses, people don't understand them. Right. And a lot of abuse is a result of generational curses. And in fact, a lot of trauma in general. Years ago when Cathy and I were first married, probably the first couple of years, I remember we were walking by a bike shop. I don't know what I was doing there, but anyways, I turned to Cathy and I go, "Why didn't God just take me when I was already dead on the ground?" And before I could finish that sentence, the words came to me, "Because you're going to break this generational curse of abuse in your family." Right. Little did I know that we had
you had your hands full there.
We had our handfuls there for the next 20 years. So just be aware of it, that it starts back 3 or 4, even some say 7 generations behind us. Yeah. So in each generation, they say, gets treated a little bit better. But there comes a point in time where a little bit better is not good enough, and we got to work on breaking those generational curses ourselves. Yeah. So in this conversation, we're talking about something many people quietly struggle with. The realization that unhealthy family patterns often get passed from one generation to the next unless someone intentionally decides to stop the cycle. Right. Many of us grew up learning survival behaviors without even realizing. So thus the story I told you, it's right there as well, right? So many grew up learning survival behaviors without even realizing it, and those survival skills, I believe, are given to us by God innately, right? And they look like this: avoiding conflict, shutting down emotionally, people pleasing, controlling behaviors is a big one, right? Emotional distance, anger, addiction, criticism, silence, and unhealthy communication. Yeah. And while those patterns may have helped us survive growing up, they often create pain in adulthood, marriage, parenting, and relationships.
Yeah, something we see very common.
And actually I saw something, and it said this:
one of the most important things people can understand is this. Many unhealthy behaviors, it didn't begin with you. It didn't begin with me.
Nope.
It didn't begin with them. family patterns are often passed down from generation to generation.
Yep, absolutely.
And a lot of it is learned behavior, which we talk about quite often.
All the time.
Yeah, but what one generation refuses to heal, the next generation often inherits.
If you don't stop the bleeding, you're going to bleed all over your family.
Right.
The
Then
future
they bleed on to
generations.
the next generation.
And they bleed on to the next generation, the next generation, and so on,
Yeah.
and so forth. So sometimes people carry the shame for struggles they learned long before they ever understood what was happening.
Yeah, that's so true.
And shame is a filthy thing to feel. And here's one very important to understand. The shame does not belong to you. People say, shame on you. No. The shame does not belong to you. The shame belongs to the perpetrators. So, for example, if emotional expression was unsafe in your home, you may have learned to shut down.
Hello.
Hello there. If chaos was normal, peace may now feel uncomfortable.
That's a good one.
If love was conditional, you may constantly seek approval. That is something that it just hit me between the eyes, right? I mean, I can remember all my life seeking approval from other people because love was conditional in my house. Right? Children adapt to survive the environment they grow up in. The problem is those survival behaviors often follow us into adulthood.
Yeah. Hard to say what that looks like. Is it 6 months? Is
Yeah.
it 15, 20 years?
Right.
Temporary doesn't have a beginning and an end that is short. It can be long-term sometimes.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But what protected us as children can create dysfunction in a major way as adults.
Yeah, because what protected us emotionally when we're young, they protect us all the way through all the way into adulthood.
All the way into
until
adulthood.
the dysfunction starts.
Generally, it starts when we get in an intimate relationship, a long-term relationship. So, for example, people-pleasing may have helped keep peace growing up, right? It's okay, whatever it takes. I'm going to just keep the peace.
Right.
And Cathy, you experienced that with me for several years.
I
You just
would agree, even if I didn't like what he said, I would, just to keep the peace. I did not want the chaos. The chaos was very uncomfortable.
to keep up the facade to the people outside.
Well, yeah, and to myself.
And to yourself
honest.
as well.
I was not being honest with myself.
Right, exactly. So it starts with self, but then it transfers to the people on the outside. They look at you like, oh, you got everything perfect. No, right? Emotional shutdown may have protected you from rejection, right? That's a very good point, right? I'll just shut down because that way if I don't say nothing, I can't be rejected.
Right.
But you're rejecting your own emotions.
Yeah, that's so true.
That's even worse, right? Controlling behavior may have helped you feel.
We've had a few things that have been popping up in our
Computer,
system lately.
I don't know what's going on.
So anyways, when you're parenting a child, there may be some things that your child is doing, but basically it's triggering you and it's teaching you some of those areas that are areas that you still have to heal with. Bear with me here as I get my bearings and get this back going again. Sorry, we've gotten it here. We'll get it. So those patterns are just carried over from from our childhood into our parenting, and family gatherings can awaken some of those old emotions that we thought we had moved past or we forgot about, that they don't affect us, but hello, they're rearing their little head.
Right. So that's because healing doesn't happen simply because time passes.
That's good.
The healing journey, you need to understand this. The healing journey is painful. It does not happen overnight.
No, it's a process.
It
takes time.
It takes time because what we're doing is renewing our neural pathways, and we have to be consistent with it, and it becomes a new way of living for the rest of your life. That's very important to understand, right? Awareness and intentional healing are necessary, absolutely necessary. Otherwise, many people unconsciously repeat what they experienced growing up, even when they swore they never would. And we'll say this, anytime one of our couples starts having struggles again, there's one thing they all have in common. They quit doing the things that work.
Right.
That work, they've got their marriage better, right? And they think, well, we're better now, so we'll be okay. But they quit doing those things and they start having issues.
Yeah, and I think too, talking about this, if you're I think you realized that, you didn't want to be what your stepdad was
No.
to you.
Oh,
and
exactly.
so you said you'd never be like him.
Right.
But at an unconscious level, some of those behaviors still reared their little heads.
Deborah even told me one day, I said, I never wanted to become my stepfather. He
Yeah.
goes, well, you have.
Yeah.
I went, oh, that stings.
Yeah.
That hurts. And
You said you never would,
but only, like, I want to make this clear. Only with the emotional abuse.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, but those are the things you swear you're not going to be.
Exactly.
You become.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the courage to break the cycle.
Okay.
And it does take courage and strength,
Yeah.
right? It takes having somebody to walk by your side that's got a lot more wisdom than you do,
Yeah.
right? Like healers for counseling. Right?
There you go.
So breaking family cycles requires courage because healing often means doing something different than what was modeled for you.
That's good.
So, Randy, how does that happen? Well, real quick, I'm going to tell you this. This is how it happens. There was an old man, when I was going to Betty Ford, Friday night was a mandatory AA meeting after our regular IOP. And I walked out of that first meeting, and there's a gentleman there, an older gentleman, much wiser than me. I didn't know who he was, but he evidently knew my name. And he walked up to me, and he put his hand on my shoulder. He says, Randy, you're enough and you're loved.
Mm-hmm.
What? Okay. And every time he saw me for the next 3 years or so, he would do that to me, right? And finally I asked him, Roy, what did you mean when you said you're enough and you're loved? Because I'd never heard those words. It was always the opposite, right? He says, Randy, you're not more than, you're not less than, you're enough.
Right.
You don't have to be any more than what you are. You are enough. And he goes, you are very lovable and you are very loved by a lot of people.
Yeah.
I never heard those words growing up. What was he doing? He was modeling to me and renewing my mind.
Yeah. And there's some other areas that modeling is important.
Right. Well, sometimes it means learning healthy communication, which is every one of our couples.
Yeah.
That's the number one issue.
Yeah.
Setting boundaries.
Hello.
Yeah,
I had to learn to set boundaries.
Right.
Oh,
Apologizing.
Apologizing for me was so hard because if I had to apologize, that means I've done something wrong or I've hurt you. And
Right.
that was a big struggle for me. So you hearing this and you struggle, just know that every time I put myself in a situation where I had to apologize, it became easier.
Right.
Yeah.
And on the flip side of that, you're apologizing just to apologize, and you have no reason to apologize.
Yeah.
Right? You walk by somebody, oh, excuse me, or I'm sorry, or, you're just constantly apologizing, and there's no reason to do that in a lot of cases.
No.
Right?
You have to have a heart behind the apology.
Right. Becoming emotionally available. Right? We have to become emotionally available.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't have become emotionally available, then Cathy wouldn't have become. It starts with me.
Yeah.
It starts with a man. We are the spiritual leader of the house. If I'm not emotionally available, how can I expect Cathy to be emotionally available?
True. You made it safe for me to become emotionally available.
And how do I make it safe? By continuing consistency.
You being emotionally available to me allowed me to be emotionally
Exactly. And not just once or twice, consistently, right? We have to face these painful memories. You can't run from them anymore.
No.
They're
still there. They're not going away.
When I would speak at conferences, I generally close with this. Unfortunately, you're going to have to walk through the pain and the pain from your past one more time.
Just one more time.
Just because you've been going over it and around it, you've never faced it head on.
You've gone through
So
it.
you've got to walk through that pain one more time in order to heal for it.
Yeah, that's good.
We got to start asking for help. You can't do it on your own because evidently you've been trying to do it on your own for a long time.
How's that working?
It didn't work for none of us. It
Right.
doesn't work, learning how to regulate emotions, that's another big one, right? Your emotions are okay. Your feelings are great. Absolutely. But learning how to regulate them is the important part, right? Don't let them get out of control, right? Choosing peace instead of control. Once you can learn to stop controlling people, places, and things, the peace and serenity that's going to overcome you is going to be unbelievable.
Yeah.
Right?
I want to add to that one. I had a conversation with a client today, and she's had a lot going on this week, but she was on this consistent routine of structure, keeping her calendar of, you know, food planning, food prepping, appointments, all of the things that she needed to, because everything felt chaotic
Right.
before. So I put her onto this structural mindset. And this last week, she got away from her structural mindset. But what was interesting, she was trying to control everything before. And once she got onto this structural mindset, she had peace. But what was really interesting is this last week when things got sideways for her, she still had peace.
Yeah.
Because she knows that she has structure and she can get back on it.
That's
So sometimes we
powerful.
step away
Yeah.
from a routine that helps us.
Right.
And we still have peace. It's because she was so consistent in creating that
Exactly.
peace.
You got to be consistent in it, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, this work, I'm going to tell you right now, can feel very, very uncomfortable
So
at
true.
first, right? But you have to, if it's not uncomfortable and it's not challenging, then it's not doing any good,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And it's only temporary.
Yeah, no, because healing often feels unfamiliar before
Right.
it feels healthy. I mean, it's new. Many people were trained for survival, not emotional safety. So when healthier relationships begin to develop, it could feel strange. It might even feel unsafe at the beginning, but that's okay. It's new.
And part of it is because you don't know how to navigate that new
No,
world.
you
right?
navigated the chaos really
Yeah,
well.
not a problem. So it's like, I want to heal, but I wasn't expecting this. This is like way more uncomfortable. I'm going to go back to the world I was living in,
Right.
as uncomfortable as it was.
Because you knew how to navigate
I
it.
know how to navigate this world, but
But
I
I
don't know how to navigate that.
But I will promise, with the consistency and change of behavior, you will learn how to navigate what once will feel uneasy and uncomfortable, will bring peace, and you will feel good about that.
And your old world will feel very
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on. So one of the hardest parts of healing is realizing you may not have caused the wounds, but healing them becomes your responsibility.
Absolutely.
That is so true. You hear people say, well, your triggers aren't my responsibility. Well, yeah, no. But
Your healing is
your
responsibility.
healing is your responsibility. For the cycle creates more pain for future generations.
That's good. Got to break it. Got to break it.
Right, exactly.
So healing changes generations. Let's talk a little bit about that, because one of the beautiful things about healing is that it doesn't only affect you.
No.
It affects marriages.
Yep.
It affects your children, your grandchildren. It affects friendships and future relationships.
Right.
You know, when one person begins that healing journey, it can shift for the entire family. And that does take time. One of the things that we talk about too, especially when we're working with couples, is if you don't fix what's going on here, and if your marriage, we want your marriage to work. We
Right.
believe in your marriage. But if your marriage doesn't work, you're going to carry these behaviors into every other relationship. And these are those relationships, whether they're in love, co-workers, family,
Yep.
children, whatever that might be. So you have to fix what's broken now.
So,
And it's going to take time.
yeah, so as much as healing affects your marriage, your children, grandchildren, remember this, your victimhood affected those same people
Yeah.
and those same relationships in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
So the healing process is going to affect your family. Look at our kids, like I said earlier, our kids have been watching us since we got in recovery, 20 plus years, right? They're watching us, everything we do, and because we are on this road of consistent change of behaviors and actions, they've changed their stuff.
Right.
So, you know, and breaking these family cycles doesn't require perfection.
No, we're not perfect at what we do by any means.
But it does require awareness, humility, and consistency. Until you can become 100% aware of what's not working,
You're not going to change.
you're not going to change.
It's like I said, awareness equals change. We
That's
can't
right.
change what we're not aware of, so
Exactly.
we have to become aware.
So it requires awareness, humility, you must become humble, and consistency.
Yeah, it's good.
Right?
I like that.
Healthy families are not families without mistakes. I thought we were perfect.
Take those words back, sir. That is not us.
Yeah,
We fall short
we've fallen short many a times.
many times, and we still do
And
today.
we still do today. Not like we used to.
No, but
you know,
it's-
it does happen, right?
That's the humanness in it.
So healthy families are families willing to communicate, grow, and take responsibility for your own actions.
Yeah, that's
you
so good.
You cannot be blaming everybody else for what you're doing.
Right. You know, I think something that's really important to understand too is that children don't need perfect parents. They don't even want perfect parents. If you ask them, what they need is they need emotionally safe parents.
That's right.
Become that emotionally safe parent, because if parents who are willing to listen, learn, and apologize and grow, your children are going to learn to listen, learn, apologize, and grow.
Well, they need to see that. They need to see that it's okay to listen. It's
right.
okay to apologize.
We got to model that to them.
Yeah, we have to, and we have to be able to sit there. When it comes to listening, we need to sit there and listen to them without any distractions.
Right.
And listen to understand what they're trying to tell us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, model that to your children.
Absolutely.
You make the change and then model it to your children.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So practical steps towards breaking family cycles. Practical steps towards breaking family cycles.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
If you're listening today and recognizing unhealthy patterns in your own life or family, here are a few practical places to begin. 1, identify the patterns honestly. We had a conversation yesterday, and I had this conversation this morning with the guy I met, and yesterday with this other couple. This is where you have to become rigorously honest with yourself about yourself.
Right.
Not about the outside world, but you have to become rigorously honest about yourself with yourself. Right. So you need to ask yourself, and you might have to think about this, what behaviors or emotional patterns keep me repeating in my family? Patterns keep repeating in my family. What behaviors or emotional patterns keep repeating in my family? You know,
sometimes it's not easy to find those answers right away. You've got to sit quietly with yourself.
Well,
journal.
You got to sit quietly with yourself, and again, a good coach or mentor walking side by side with you. That's
can help pull that out of you. Yeah.
Are going to help pull that out of you. You're going to be able to look at things from a different perspective, through a new pair of glasses, so to speak.
Right.
So we have to stop normalizing unhealthy behavior.
Yeah. Just
because something was common growing up does not mean it was healthy.
Right.
I remember there was a gentleman at a stag meeting I went to, and he was very wealthy, and his family, they were struggling really bad. And he showed, and you know, he was in the program doing the stuff, and I remember he showed up to a men's group one night, and he walked in, he says, "Well, gentlemen, I come to the conclusion, this is how I was born, this is who I am, so I'm not going to change." Good luck with that. I mean, your family's falling apart, and you just think it's okay.
Right.
It's not good.
Yeah.
So we have to learn healthier emotional tools. Healing requires learning, number 1, and most important, communication. Well, I talk to my wife all the time. That's just a small part of communication.
Yeah.
How are you talking to your wife? There's so much.
That's one of the things that we talk. It's one of our part of our heal program, and the top thing that struggles that couples and individuals struggle with.
It's not only happening in the marriage; it's happening with everyone.
Yeah, it's doesn't matter.
Emotional regulation. We have to learn how to regulate our emotions. Like I said, feelings and emotions are perfectly okay.
Yep.
We just need to learn how to regulate them.
Yeah.
Peace. And the boundaries we set are for us, not for the other people.
It's true.
Conflict resolution. Are you going to keep on walking away? And part of conflict resolution comes with vulnerability.
Right. Yeah, vulnerability. And these are all things that we at Heal and Restore Counseling work with. These are very common things. We have to have healthier emotional tools to become healthier emotional people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So number 4 is give yourself grace during the process.
Yeah, it's so good.
Healing takes time, right? You'll not undo years of survival patterns overnight.
Right.
We are constantly, telling our clients, give yourself grace. Don't be so hard on
Be patient with yourself.
Be patient with yourself, right? This is a tough journey. We're not going to sugarcoat it. It's not easy. I don't care what anybody tries to tell you. It's a difficult journey.
Right.
But it's well worth the journey.
It's well worth your investment.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Yeah, the investment of your time.
Yeah.
Choose intentional relationships. Oh, that's, healing grows in safe, honest, emotionally healthy environment.
Yeah.
That is such a key. You got to look around, and who are you hanging out with? If you're a man, does that man hold the values that you would like to have? Are they married? If you're married, are they married? Do they have kids? What's their home life like? You need to know all these things before you just jump in with somebody. You got to make sure they're safe so that you can open up to them and have them go, okay, all right, things happen, you're fine, right? And you walk with you through that. Same thing with women.
Right. Well, I think that what this reminds me of too is for ourselves, for myself and for you, is that once we got onto this road of recovery, there were some relationships that didn't benefit us any longer.
Exactly.
And we had to be okay with that, number one. But number two, having and choosing intentional relationships that are emotionally healthy for us, it allowed you to remain to keep wanting to be emotionally healthy. It wasn't like I had one foot in and one foot out.
Right.
I wanted to be around like-minded people so that I could stay like-minded. And that's why it's been so important for us with Heal and Restore Counseling. We formed our little life group with our local clients because we needed to have each other.
Right.
We're all walking this journey,
Right,
but
exactly.
those have become our relationships and our friendships that we built over the last couple of years, and those are important to me. So if I'm around like-minded people, I am going to remain like-minded.
And you want people that are not going to co-sign your BS. They're not going to be harsh on you, but they're not going to let you get away with some of the things you were getting away with.
Yeah.
They're in a loving way going to remind you, you know what? You might want to rethink the way you're thinking about this right now, because these are the situations that I've experienced just like you.
Yep.
And it didn't work too good for me. So these are some of the things I did. Right, that worked for me.
And here's what
Don't
I'm doing
tell
today.
people what they should or shouldn't do, because you don't know that.
Yeah, no, that's
you
good.
got to use yourself as an example.
Yeah,
So
that's
the big book says you cannot transmit anything you don't have. So if you don't have the healing part, you're not going to like this. Don't try to help people.
Yeah, you can't help them. So we always like to close our podcast out with a few words of encouragement. And so if today's conversation resonated with you, we want you to remember this. Your past may explain you, which I love that. It's going to explain everything about you, but it does not have to define you today.
No.
You know, if you're not doomed to repeat every pattern you inherited.
No.
Because healing is possible. All you have to do is be open and willing to take those steps, to be aware, and to start making those changes.
Remember, everything in your past has been a learning lesson, right? And it's like, well, what did I learn from a stepfather that abused me? You know, what kind of lesson can I learn from him? How not to be a father, for example, right?
Yeah.
So you don't look at your past as some
like
curse,
you were doomed.
like you're doomed for no, it's not. Use it as a way to grow.
Yeah.
What did you learn in those, right? And sometimes the most powerful thing a person can say is, the cycle stops with me.
What you said.
Not through perfection, not through control, but through healing, honesty, and intentional change.
Yeah. And that's where you started. You realize that. So we just want to thank you guys for joining us today on the Heal and Restore podcast. If this episode encouraged you, please take some time to share it with someone who may need hope today. All we want to do is pass that hope around. Don't forget, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, our Instagram page, all of our social medias, TikTok. Always leave us a review. Follow us along, for more conversations, and let us know what you want to hear, what might help you grow, what might help you strengthen your relationships. And so we just want to remind you that healing is possible. And every healthy choice you make today has the power to change generations tomorrow.
100% true.
Yeah. Healing is possible. Every healthy choice you make today has the power to change those generations of tomorrow.
That's right.
That's
Patience.
good.
Patience and grace, not only for yourself, but for your family members, your spouse, your children.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good.
So remember this, everybody. We're done?
Yeah.
Okay, we're done, right?
Yeah, we got it.
I usually ask that question
Yeah,
before.
no, you're good.
So remember this, everybody. Nobody tells you they love you today. Randy does.
Kathy does.
More importantly, God does. Be blessed, everybody. Have a fabulous week.
Have a great week.